been going on since, well, probably ever since the game was out. I knew of a private server back in 2000 and maybe 11 or 2010. So this has been going on for a number of years, and they're just now doing something about it. If they were worried about the copyrights or trademarks or whatever, you'd think they would have went after it then. I just don't know why it's all of a sudden such a big deal. I think honestly just because it got to the size it was. It was a huge number of people in that game. They saw it as chipping away maybe at their profit.
Yeah, no, that's definitely that's a good point. Somewhere in that article there were lots of responses saying that it was quote unquote cannibalizing the profits of Blizzard's current content, and even then, if Blizzard created a legacy server, that it would cannibalize their own profits. So it's like there's all these weird problems with it, and even though it's kind of in demand, probably more so than the current content, because let's face it, the game went in the shitter when Cataclysm went out.
Yeah, that was a little bit of an understatement there.
Yeah, it was a literal cataclysm.
On so many levels. Yeah.
The game is screwed from this point on. What should we call it? Let's call it Cataclysm.
Let's go with garbage. Cataclysm. Yeah, that's it.
Like, oh, this is great. I like this idea. Now, how can we show players that the game is totally screwed? And like, oh, let's take the best zones in the game and totally change them, just destroy them.
Yay!
No content.
I know that people got kind of bored with that, but that was always kind of my funnest times, was starting a new character and going through all the zones again. And to find out that they just completely destroyed it, I couldn't go back to the game after that. I quit right as Cataclysm was being released, and after I read all what's happened, I said no. I would never give it another chance after that.
Well, you're a good man for that, that's for sure.
Well, it started a little bit before then, whenever they released this big update in Wrath of the Lich King, where they kind of made everything super cookie cutter. Like, you used to be able to have some cool variations as being a hunter or even a warlock, but then it's like they were all trying to shoehorn people into very specific roles. I didn't.
Oh, yeah, that I think you're referring to the talent system got totally changed. Yes. And it was like, okay, you can no longer put 5 points into one tree and then do 40 points in a whole other tree. So and you couldn't, but they're like, oh, but we made it better. It's cleaner and it's straightforward. And that's why Nostalrius was a lot of fun, because if you guys out there that played remember, the vanilla experience was totally different, and it was
like one thing that was in the vanilla that was so different is there were tons of hard creators everywhere. The elite ones, like in Arathi Highlands, there was like all these ogres and stuff that were all elite. And do you remember that area in Arathi? It was like this keep.
Oh, yeah. And they were like level 35 and 40 or something like that.
And they were all elite. And then one of the updates, this was before Wrath, though, they just decided to elite almost all the common mobs like that. And they made it so much easier. I love a challenge. So I really wanted to give something like, what is it, Nautilus, right? That's how you pronounce that?
Oh,
no, what is it?
Say it again?
The game server, the private one that's getting
Nostalrius.
Well,
it's a funky word.
You'll be my pronouncer.
Yeah, I'll be the interpreter.
But I wanted to give that a chance, but I'm not really into games that much anymore. But if I were to go back to a game like that, that's the one I would have chosen. Something that was actually a challenge and fun as heck, because that was such a fun game back then.
Absolutely. Well, kind of cut to the side here. So Algon, again, for as far as the timeline goes, Mike and I have discussed, early on in the project, like let's aim for like a fall, loose somewhere in the fall of this year. So it's actually, it's pretty around the corner, so it's not like next year or anything, but. As I said before, we want to update the game in smaller critical updates. So the next one is coming up fairly soon, and that'll include objects and things like armor and special exits and things of that nature. And then we still have a few more critical updates to go. So I think at this rate, whether we finish everything that we want to finish by, the middle of fall or the end of fall, I think we'll, the little team here will want to, have some kind of experience, for us to test with you guys, or, beta or alpha, whatever you want to call it. So it may not be the full experience, but, I'll try to make sure that we have something at some point. So I think ultimately, looking back, like from today back to when I first started streaming, and a little bit before that, that was about a month, and then before that was about another month, maybe a month and a half of just planning and organizing. So I figure, depending on how the code appears for Mike, if so, I'm kind of rambling here, but the point I'm making is that if the implementation that we make in the next few days allows Mike to kind of replicate it into the other areas like spells and combat, then it'll be sooner, as far as an alpha test. So now we're excited to see where we'll end up in the next couple of weeks here, and we'll have a better idea of how long things will take. Trump. Oh man.
That's President Trump to you.
Oh my God. I do give the idea some thought, and I do understand that in most cases it doesn't mean a whole lot, who ends up actually winning usually. So it could be entertaining, I'll give you that.
Yeah, but the presidency should not be entertaining. But it ends up being.
Well, yeah. I mean, I don't think they should either. But I'm also, we're America. We're the big dogs, and in some ways. So why not? Why not just see what happens? See the world come to an end. It'd be something to see, right?
Yeah, there you go. Look on the bright side. If it ends, we get to see it. Yay!
Sounds like, ToeClan, sounds like you need more people entering items into the database. Well, I mean, that's not entirely true. The database itself is already written, as far as the data dump that was recovered, and then I think it's the same one that Elysian has provided us. So we have that. That's a fairly quick implementation. It's more about the supporting code that allows you to manipulate it, to create it, to delete it. And all the various steps that are required in programming, which gives most people a headache. But if you're not mortal like Mike, you don't get a headache.
Yeah, lucky Mike.
Yeah, I wasn't necessarily saying that I support Trump, because I don't. But I mean, let's take a realistic look at it, huh?
You know who I'm for? I'm for Bernie Sanders. Love that guy, but he's not getting elected. Not even close.
Oh, you're giving me low hopes, sir.
Yeah, you know it too. I mean, I really love what he stands for, and he's like the most genuine politician we're ever going to find out about. I mean, there's no one more honest and truthful than him, and
right.
Unfortunately, in the world of politics, that means you really don't have a chance.
Yeah, like Bernie Sanders, have you ever told a lie? No. Okay, you're fired.
Nice.
You're not fit to be a politician. Hi, Hillary Clinton. Here's $2 billion. Will you tell the world everything that we want you to say? Absolutely. Okay, you're hired.
There you go. Or no, all she has to do is give that evil cackle / laugh that she does.
Yeah. Anyway, a language filter. Yeah. So I'll have you know that Mike and I spent some time having fun creating a bad name filter. So we got a little creative, or at least I did, and so things like name creation are definitely taken care of. And I'm sure there might be a filter because knowing this community, you're bound
we're
to.
probably gonna need some kind of filter. I'm gonna send you something on Skype, and you'll see why.
Uh-oh. It looks like she is, yeah. Just give her a direct question if you have a question. Type the @ symbol, type her handle, and that way she can at least get a better notice.
Yeah. So some kind of filter is probably going to be needed to be on by default. But do you support like letting people say whatever if they turn it off?
That's a good point. I mean, I'll tell you what I do know, and that is, freedom. It's not really a freedom of speech thing. It's just like, how, do we have to be that controlling? Do we have to make you edit your expression in any form?
I'm all for free speech, even though that only applies to the government, whatever. But yeah, just some of this stuff, I don't know. Like what I just sent you, that was just like the tip of the iceberg, too. Then we got really bad. Like really bad.
Yeah, and I think that it's hard to say. I think just a filter is fine. More or less.
Yeah.
And that if people become an issue, then we'll obviously help enforce things and say, hey, stop saying, honey boo boo over and over again.
Yes, that's the worst thing you could possibly say. I think we can agree, though, no bad language dragon. We can all agree on that. That was the stupidest thing that they ever had. Were you around for that back then?
What was it again?
It was a bad language dragon whenever you type like a curse word.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
yeah, I remember that.
Teleport your character and kill it, and you lose all your gear. It's so stupid.
Yeah, Toklan, we've been thumbing through all kinds of stuff. It's been very fun and enlightening. So yeah, they've been great.
Yeah, Toklan, they've really helped me find just these little bugged areas that either were broken intentionally by players abusing the trap / excuse me, trap / dupe bug, or where they just were corrupted because Nania said that a lot of the stuff wasn't properly cleaned out. And it's let me find out where all these little nooks and crannies are, at least most of them, and it's been really nice bringing these back from the death. What was your dog doing? I hear him running around back there. Algon, is that similar to the bug that the ogres were using in Chaos? Where I know that they like attack with a spell, their their equivalent of whatever the aid was in the Arch. I know that